Welcome to the 34th Annual Awards Assembly of the Faculty of Humanities. My name is Ken Cruikshank, and it's my great honor to be the Dean of this faculty. And it is my great privilege to join with all of you today to celebrate the individual achievements of our students. The robes we wear may seem almost whimsical, but we wear them today out of respect and to honor a number of different groups. We honor the many people who have given awards to the university that we might give them to you, who have often done that in memory of loved ones or on their own behalf because they shared our love of learning, and we are trying to honor their wish to recognize leadership and excellence. We also honor the parents, friends, and others who are here not to see me, but to see a loved one cross the stage and receive an honor. And know that when they cross the stage, we are honoring you as well. We recognize that this is probably not the first time that you have provided moral and practical financial support to these students. Finally, I want to congratulate all of the award winners who are here today. Congratulations. When we walked in, you may have seen that I was protected by a man carrying a mace. That is our beadle. This year it is John Weaver, our beadle. And thank John for doing that. And he carried the mace today. We always joke about it as to protect the dean, but in some ways you probably have seen a mace before, and you see that mace around Parliament. And I see this mace as a symbol of our autonomy and our self-governing authority and our ability to make independent judgments. And we have made judgments. And we think you are a spectacular group of young men and women. And we thank you very much. We thank you for being in our classrooms. We thank you for being in our laboratories, our creative performance spaces, our art studios, our music practice rooms. We thank you for all of the hard work you do. We are honored, and we honor you by bringing the mace in through all this ceremony, which, as I say, may seem a bit whimsical. Congratulations again. This is a afternoon of highlights, and one of the highlights for me is to introduce the 2013-14 Bedford medalist. And I'm finding my notes on the Bedford medalist because, as will become clear, Kendra Aldyke helped me formulate this introduction, and I hope it will become clear that she has. Kendra began taking formal piano lessons at age 12, although she had already begun playing songs on an organ that she says was in her basement that belonged to her grandfather. 1 year later, when she was 13, Kendra bought a piano. She spent the next 3 years delivering newspapers, babysitting, and cleaning in order to pay for it. Needless to say, she loved the piano. She really loved the piano. Unlike some parents, her parents had to ask her to stop practicing, to eat, for example, or perhaps to go to sleep. Let me add to some of the words that Kendra in some ways has provided to me, that Kendra is a fine student working towards a Bachelor of Music in our new program in Music Cognition. And along the way, she hopes to pick up a minor in psychology and a diploma in music performance. She's worked as a volunteer for Max Serve, Reading Week, Music for Social Change, and as a volunteer pianist at a retirement residence. She has won a list of awards. In 2006, she was awarded the Bernice Winter Music Award. Between 2007 and 2009, she earned 7 first-place ribbons between the Brantford Kiwanis Music at the Brantford Kiwanis Music Festival. And in 2009, she won that festival's trophy. In 2013 and 2014, McMaster awarded her the Irene Pierce Scholarship for excellence in academics and excellence in keyboard performance. She is the 2013-14 recipient of the Bedford Medal for Excellence in Piano Playing. But what Kendra really wanted me to tell you is that playing is not about winning awards or reaching perfection. It is about creating and sharing something beautiful. Thank you for those words. Please welcome Kendra Allen. behalf of everyone here, thank you, Kendra. That was beautiful. I'd like to take a moment to recognize some of the people who are in attendance today. I will probably introduce the platform party last. Let me just acknowledge some others that are in the audience. Our university librarian, Vivian Lewis, our associate vice president, students and learning, Sean Van Kunik. It's a new position, I have to always remember what it's called. And our vice president academic, who makes sure that the lights come on, that everything is clear. He's hiding. And finally, in the audience, our assistant dean, Pat Cowens, is here. Thank you all for your willingness to take time out of your busy day to attend. On the platform, our two associate deans. I need all the help I can get. So, starting at the far end of the stage, Bonnie Bowe, who is the Associate Dean, Research and Graduate Studies, and Anna Morrow, who is Associate Dean, Academic. And finally, there is our guest for today, who I will introduce more slowly. This is the second time in which I've had the honor to preside over this assembly. And when I was thinking about a guest speaker last year, I looked down the street to one of our graduates who was working in the downtown on neighborhood renewal. This year, I didn't look up as far from my desk. I looked across the hall to one of our graduates working in the university, who leads our efforts to connect donors to the university. Of course, if I'd been literally looking across the hall, the chances are I would not have seen her. Lorna Summers travels a lot. Universities in, so far I count 5 continents, invite her to come speak on a variety of university matters, including fundraising, but not just about fundraising. She helps universities think about how they can enhance the work they do and how they can, for example, generate the kind of awards that we are able to give today. The reason she gets invited so many places will become apparent, I think, but there are other reasons. They invite her because of her practical experience. She has been working at McMaster in our advancement office since 1988. She served as a campaign director for 2 of our largest and most successful university-wide fundraising campaigns. She's also assisted a whole range of other smaller targeted campaigns, and she's certainly assisted this team in a number of fundraising activities. They also invite her because she's a great teacher, and she's a leader in her profession. She is co-author of one of the best-selling books on fundraising in Canada. She served as the national chair of the Canadian Association of Gift Planners. She served as the chair of the International Committee for the Council for the Advancement and Support of Education, short form CASE. I say that because she is only the 2nd Canadian to win CASE's Crystal Apple for Excellence in Teaching in 2005. And then in 2011, she was the 1st Canadian to win the same organization's Frank Ashmore Award for her contribution to teaching, service, and leadership. Some students and some members of the community may know her better for the other teaching that she does. She delights audiences with her approach to teaching formal dining etiquette. They also invite her, I'm sure, because she is such a great joy to spend time with. Neither fundraising or even that other word, advancement, does justice to the kind of work that she does. Lorna earns trust and builds relationships. And of course, I have one more reason for inviting her, and you can probably guess that one. She is not only a graduate of the Master, but she is a graduate of the Faculty of Humanities with degrees in English and Art History. Welcome, Lorna.
the nicest thing he's ever said to me in about 20 years. I was wondering if you could go through that again. Thank you. It's lovely. And what a treat it is for me to be here, Dean Cruikshank, distinguished guests and colleagues, and Kendra, beautiful, sublime job on the Debussy. It's a treat to enjoy today this special celebration as you look back on your achievements and your parents sit with you, chuffed at what you've accomplished over the last several years. And Ken, I'm grateful too for this opportunity to talk a little bit about my own academic journey and the impact that humanities and taking those 2 degrees has had upon it. And I'd have to characterize my own life as incredibly fortunate and rewarding. So now, before you nod off for about 12 minutes, I want to throw down the gauntlet to you a little bit and tell you without reservation that, simply put, I have the best job in the world. And this is what takes that from being a declaration of a mere boast into something that the scholarly authoritative journal called Elle Magazine calls a humble brag. I fully credit my humanities degrees for enabling me to say that so definitively. And if you're not thinking, tell me more at this point, you should be, because each of you has the opportunity to echo that sentiment. And sooner than you may think, if you press into service all that you've learned over the last several years and the skills you've honed in pursuit of your degrees. And since you're also clever, I know you're going to know exactly what I'm going to talk about over the next few minutes. Snails. Yes, I'm going to talk about snails and kaleidoscopes. I'm going to talk about Marvel Comics' Fantastic Four. I'm going to talk about Pitbull, Martha Stewart, and Curious George. And all in less time than it takes to drink a grande iced peppermint white chocolate mocha. So bear with me. But enough about you, let's talk about me for a moment. You know, day in and day out here at McMaster, I work with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Ken mentioned this is my 27th year here, my 32nd if you count the years I worked in an entomology lab as a high school student, where I was responsible for putting my naked arm into a cage to feed Culex pipiens, which for the lay person are mosquitoes. I don't think that's even legal, Dr. Weaver, is it? To do that for 5 summers? That's what I did. And now my job now is far less itchy than that one. I work with graduates, alumni, friends of our university who, in recognition of their own experience here, and by warrant of their generosity and their passion for education, a McMaster education, established the very awards you're being recognized for today. Awards that I trust have enriched your own experience and made your parents very happy to boot. But it's important to recognize that on the main, these are not individuals with tremendous personal wealth, but rather, in the words of the great Jessica Fletcher, star of the dramatic and highly instructive series Murder, She Wrote, she, like them, are people who, quote, repay the good things in their lives by investing in someone else's. Yours, for example. Season 7, episode 11, I think. I commend it to you. And at the same time here at Mac, I see extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. And it's through their efforts that I believe universities and our own, ranked among the very best in the world, can indeed transform individual lives, transform communities, and help address the most challenging problems facing society. And this accomplished through teaching and research and the fostering of soon-to-be humanities graduates like yourselves, brimming with intellectual curiosity and hungry for the enormity possible. Now, I've been associated with MAC actually since I was in grade 10, and I was awarded a summer studentship here, and I could not fathom working anywhere else in the world. I love the complexity, the depth, the rigor, the quirkiness of universities. Where else but a university could the question be posed, why are some snails left-handed? And there's a great article in The Economist that talks about 2 professors from Cornell and Yale who over several years studied 1,722 snails and determined that right-handed snails were about 70% more likely to be in a lethal confrontation with a crab than left-handed snails. What the hell? But you gotta love it. Indiana University, 7 years. So what could my degrees in English and art history possibly have to do with finding this serendipitous intersection of working in an environment I love, this university, with people I admire in a meaningful role that makes a tangible difference? Well, everything, quite frankly. Humanities equipped me and is equipping all of you with not just one remarkable lens to see the world, but many. And a little more about those lenses in a moment. You know, in high school, after filling out a career questionnaire aimed at helping students sharpen our focus, you may remember doing this, focusing on areas of interest and talent, and then aligning our university choices with those talents, I remember my guidance counselor calling me down to his office with the results and a warning that he had good news and bad news. I hadn't realized it was possible to fail a career questionnaire, but I feared that's what I had done. The good news, he told me, was that he felt I was equipped to be anything from a Viking to a shepherd. I still remember his words, and that was almost 15 years ago. That was hurtful. The bad news was that I was interested in too many things. He said he couldn't even begin to help me narrow down my sights, so I asked him, what should I do if I don't want to narrow my focus? And he said, study the humanities. Relish the journey. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. And thank you, too, to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is what my parents asked me to call them, for supporting me in my decision. And as it turned out, what I had in spades, along with apparently the ability to corral sheep and pillage, was a secret ingredient to success and satisfaction: intellectual curiosity, insatiable intellectual curiosity. You know, like Murder, She Wrote and Elle magazine, little children are remarkably interesting and instructive. When I taught art to grade 3s, I'd ask the class at the very beginning, put up your hand if you think you're creative. How many hands do you think went up in that class? Every single one went up. When I do that with a room full of adults, hands, maybe a couple go up sheepishly. It's as if I ask them, who watches The Bachelor? Everybody's doing this a little bit. The difference is we self-censor as we become adults. We figure that Martha Stewart has set the gold standard, right? If you cannot make an attractive centerpiece out of a living cat, you are not creative anymore. But untrue. Children are not only naturally creative, they're also irritatingly intellectually curious. They are all snail researchers in the offing, because they're constantly asking, the parents would recall this, why? And to which the exhausted parent finally responds, because, just because, stop asking me. To which my daughter's final volley was, but why? Now, the newest branches on my family tree are equally curious and cheeky. Over the holidays, my grandchildren, 6 and 4, it's not their names, their ages, 6 and 4, they declared with authority that I was like Mrs. Curious George, which was a great compliment in their books, because I've collected and displayed the craziest and most amazing artifacts from my travels around the world, and they know their Nana is interested in everything. And so now, so are they. They've connected the dots. Curiosity is contagious. Imagination can be nurtured and developed. I'm watching it happen with delight. Dean Cruikshank often reminds me, logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Very wise. Don't be impressed, he's quoting Einstein. Curious and creative and not to be outdone, our President Patrick Dean reminded us in his address last November, universities have a fundamental responsibility to foster intellectual curiosity. No one does it better than the humanities. Research has proven that those who choose humanities are typically intellectually curious with a strong desire to make a difference in all that they undertake, and are both prepared and keen to lead the charge. Humanities nurtures leaders. These skills and these aspirations, this mental attitude, enable us to flourish in a world where the rate of change, already swift, will continue to accelerate almost beyond comprehension, where we must be committed to constantly learning, even sometimes unlearning old habits, and adopting to new ways of thinking. Things that we do in our daily lives we have to think about differently, like figuring out how to turn off the lights in your hotel room when there's not a switch or a panel in sight, or having to call customer service because you can't figure out how to use your new toaster. Your toaster. Not that I have personal experience with either of these two things, but You know, we flourish when we're inquisitive and when we're curious, flexible and tenacious enough to connect even those dots that aren't typically connected and come up with something new or novel. Or equally stimulating, just a little more vexing, is when those dots just don't connect. And it's a complete bust, but we've learned so much from the journey itself. And we shan't say we failed. As a baby boomer, I say it's simply deferred success. So intellectual curiosity is so much admired, you will know this, that it's even a key characteristic of some of the world's best and most popular superheroes. Now, super strength, turning into a human torch, being able to become invisible, they're all cool, they're all nice to haves. But the real star of Marvel's Fantastic Four is actually the founder, Mr. Fantastic himself, admired since a child for his brilliance and insatiable curiosity, likely an arts and science grad. He's top drawer when it comes to physics, human and alien biology, chemistry, and engineering. And he was ranked by Business Week as comics one of their top 10 most intelligent fictional characters. But for me, though, my humanities degree is much more than just accumulated knowledge. They were, as soon as I graduated, I discovered this the very best kitting out for life. The world outside school, and not just your work life, your personal life, your creative life as well. I graduated with a sense of confidence I could do almost anything. And not just because I could tell a Monet from a Manet, but because I could communicate well, clearly, sometimes even memorably and persuasively, which turned out to be helpful in my future career in fundraising. And I could write good. I enjoyed thinking and learned to think critically. I learned to work effectively as part of a team and independently, to think deeply about and sometimes even solve problems, intriguing problems. I vividly recall my graduation with my degree in honors English, and I didn't think at that point, nor did my parents ever ask, just what are you going to do now? Instead, I remember the exhilaration of thinking, the world is my oyster, which was 1980s speak for bring it. I was ready. So I became the first dentist with only a BA, because I thought, just how hard could dentistry be? Okay, turns out it was very hard, so I had to forgo it. I'm not a dentist, just saying. But like so many of you, I ended up in a job that I never even thought about when I was going through university. It didn't even exist, in fact. It was very, very new in Canada when I got to it. When friends asked what a coordinator of the annual fund did here at McMaster, I usually made something up. I was like, I got nothing. I don't know what I do. They're paying me. I'm sticking around. So I decided I'm going to define it myself. And I started doing things that my humanities background enabled. It was the most solid foundation. And my newly fledged job was a launching pad. So my confidence in my own communication skills, the ability to learn, meant that when I was approached to co-author the book Ken mentioned, I said, I'm in. And afterwards I said, what? And it turns out that that book is in its 4th or 5th edition now. I've lost track, and as you mentioned, it's actually sold enough to qualify as a bestseller in Canada. Yeah. But that's another humble brag, because in Canada, if you have a large enough family and everyone buys a book, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot on the bestseller list. And you know, I remember doing the book signing, the big launch we had in Toronto, and after the 10th person asked me to autograph their book, I stopped saying, you've got to be kidding. Now I say, wow, I did that. And wow has led to unimaginable opportunities for me. The rapper Pitbull, who fancies himself Mr. Worldwide, has nothing on me, from a travel perspective anyway, with my own heaving passport, which is evidence of the incredible opportunities now I have to work and speak on campuses across the world, from Lagos to London, from Seoul to Sydney, and how great is that? You know, Robert Frost wrote, freedom lies in being bold, so I took bold and then added a soupçon of bodacious. I carved out my own niche. I made mistakes, enjoyed successes, but constantly moved toward a greater intersection of what I do for a living and what I'm living for. My academic journey here at McMaster in humanities, amplified by intrinsic curiosity and creativity, fortified me with a sense that I really was equipped for anything if I only put myself out there, took risks, connected those dots. Now, all of you are evidence that there's an indisputable connection between academic achievement and intellectual curiosity. And yet we must not feel that it does not require lifelong nurturing. We can't get lazy and become intellectually complacent. We need to be continually pushing our own refreshed key and revitalizing our thirst and enthusiasm for knowledge. It stimulates your brain, makes you more interesting, makes you smarter, makes you wise. And it avails you of all the lenses through which you can see this extraordinary world. Now here's part of my kit that I carry through life with me, fine-tuned by my education. Multiple lenses. This is a clever metaphor coming on. Each different, serving a unique purpose that helps me fully see and marvel at the world around me. I'd kill for a telescope right now. Wait a minute, I brought one. So, lens number one, my telescope. Bringing into view objects and opportunities, but still at a great distance. Catching a glimmer in a very big universe of what I think is the possible, of just what might be out there, waiting for me if I can only bring it into focus. Next are two little telescopes strapped together. Of course, my binoculars. Itty bitty ones, the origin of the world, reflecting the use of both eyes, combining two views into a 3D image. Reflecting for me that which is closer to home, but still at enough distance that it will take an effort to grasp, but it's within reach. And then my microscope. Yeah, I brought one of those too. I'm the best person in the world. My microscope, magnifying lenses that ensure that I don't have to miss a thing, even if it's itty bitty or too small for the naked eye. It helps me unlock secrets. And my favorite most of all is the kaleidoscope. Not a kaleidoscope, the kaleidoscope. Through its lens, fantastic patterns are formed by looking at everyday objects around us. What we choose to see and experience is only limited by our own imagination. There are marvels at our fingertips that people routinely overlook. Eleanor Roosevelt wrote, "The important thing is never to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reasons for existing." You know, I'm grateful, so grateful for a lifetime shaped by what I learned and how I learned to learn. Passion, skill, tenacity, and intellectual curiosity all combine to ensure that I'm confident and capable enough to say to every opportunity I find or make, bring it. You've got it too, and it bodes well for a most exhilarating and satisfying future. So go get it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna. You speak good. You speak gooder than I. Thank you for inviting us to look at the world in multiple ways. I know that every time I'm with Lorna, I look at the world in multiple ways. And that doesn't sound good, does it? Thank you so much for agreeing and taking time out of your travels and allowing us to ground you for an afternoon. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure now to invite the Associate Dean, Anna Morrow, to the stage, and we'll begin what you've really been waiting for, the award ceremony.
Welcome, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be the person who gets to call out the names of the award winners. Congratulations to you all. Kendra Audig, Dean's Honor List, the Irene Pierce Scholarship, the Humanities Undergraduate Student Research Award, the Reginald Bedford Award for Excellence in Canada. Congratulations. Udoka Okafor, Dean's Honor List, the Gupta Family International Scholarship, the Humanities Essay Prize. Zainab Al-Salihi, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Annette Amenta, Dean's Honor List, the Latin Prize. Angela Anderson, the University Senate Scholarship. Nicholas Andre, Dean's Honor List. Benjamin Armstrong, Dean's Honor List, the Daphne Edrington Gray Memorial Scholarship in History. Fahima Begum, Dean's Honor List, the Edwin Daly Memorial Scholarship. Faisal Baba, Dean's Honor List. Brooke Bingham, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Natalie Boulay, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Emma Bridgewater, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship. Sean Callahan, the University Senate Scholarship. Kendra Campbell, Dean's Honor List. Aaron Cardwell, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Claudia Camille, Dean's Honor List. Chantal Chino, Dean's Honor List, the Ryan B. Clark Political Science Scholarship, the T.H.B. Simons Prize in Canadian Studies. Courtney Cochran, the Margaret E. Orr and Edward C. Allen Prize. Emily Comtois, Dean's Honor List. Sarah Conrad, Dean's Honor List, the Bank of Montreal Humanities Media Scholarship. Ailish Corbett, Dean's Honor List. Olivia Costantini, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the Betty McMillan Prize. Mackenzie Crump, Dean's Honor List. Erica Kuda, Dean's Honor List, the Edwin Daly Memorial Scholarship. Laura Curtis, the Joan Frances Bowling Scholarship, the Sharon Reed Scholarship. Lizwake de Souza, Dean's Honor List. Jamie Dennison, Dean's Honor List, the James Robertson Carruthers Memorial Prize. Krista Deverson, Dean's Honor List. Michaela Di Macantonio, Dean's Honor List, the William G. Carter Scholarship in Golf, the ITCA Community Involvement Prize. Brooke Doran, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship. Ryan Dorsman, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the John H. Truman Scholarship. Olivia Dudnik, Dean's Honor List, the Eleanor Dornbush Marcos Prize in Art History, the Latin Prize. Linda Duemo, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Sydney Dusoulier, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the Farquhar Firth Academic Grant. Caitlin Falco, the University Senate Scholarship. Olivia Ann Fazzulo, the Gary Lawtons Memorial Scholarship. Sarah Forbes, the University Scholarship. Richard Freeman, the Humanities Essay Prize. Ella Gare, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship, the Barbara Patricia Peckman Academic Grant. Sarah Garcia, Dean's Honor List, the Bank of Montreal Humanities Media Scholarship, and the Elaine Nardocchio Memorial Scholarship. Matthew Gartshore, Dean's Honor List, the Ella Halstead Campbell Prize, the Irene Pierce Scholarship. Isabella Giuliano, Dean's Honor List, the J. Beverly Krugel Scholarship in German Language Studies. Tanya Gonzalez, Dean's Honor List, the University Prize for Special Achievement, the Bank of Montreal Humanities Media Scholarship, the Humanities Undergraduate Student Research Award. Allison Griffith, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship. Marco Gugliucello, Dean's Honor List. Maureen Gustafson, Dean's Honor List, the Brian Bucknell Memorial Scholarship, the E. Doris Lawrence Scholarship. Kelly Halkovich, Dean's Honor List, the Ella Julia Reynolds Scholarship. Ashley Harvey, the Joan Jackson Dunbar Travel Scholarship. Alexandra Heimler, the University Senate Scholarship. Julie Huff, Dean's Honor List, the Audrey Diemert Memorial Book Prize. Anita Yafrate, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the Louise Becker Scholarship in Music. Hannah Ibner, Dean's Honor List, the Class of 38 Scholarship in honor of Amelia Hall. Alexander Janak, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Mina Paravit, Dean's Honor List. Carissa Kay, Dean's Honor List, the Class of 38 Scholarship in honor of Amelia Hall. Sarah King, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the E. Togo Salmon Prize in History. Nicholas Cozy, Dean's Honor List. Clayton Labate, Dean's Honor List. Jason Lau, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Crystal Lobo, Dean's Honor List. Jim Liu, the Hamilton Artists Inc. Award for Distinction in Studio Arts. David McFarland, Dean's Honor List, the Robert H. Johnston Undergraduate Scholarship in History. Cassandra Mallory, Dean's Honor List. Summer Martin, Dean's Honor List. Paige Maynard, the University Scholarship. Camelia McLeod, Dean's Honor List, the Helen Ray Scholarship in Fine Arts, the Marion Maitland Memorial Academic Grant in Art History. Allison McNeil, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship. Rachel Mostert, Dean's Honor List. Jacob Ohanian, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the F.W. Waters Scholarship in Philosophy. Emma Orser-Corney, Dean's Honor List. Katrina Owens, Dean's Honor List, the Edwin Daly Memorial Scholarship. Kate Oyston, Dean's Honor List. Lauren Panzarella, Dean's Honor List. Bianca Paliselli, Dean's Honor List. Kyle Park, Dean's Honor List, the Bank of Montreal Humanities Media Scholarship. Polina Pelinovskaya, Dean's Honor List. Daniela Porano, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship, the Newcomb Prize in Peace Studies. Sadaf Ramayan, Dean's Honor List. Rohidan Rajkumar, Dean's Honor List, the Bertram Osmer Hooper Scholarship, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship. Ana Reyes, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the A.G. Alexander Scholarship. Melanie Viva, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the Linguistics Prize. Catherine Robinson, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship, the Alexander Gordon McKay Scholarship, the E.T. Salmon Scholarship. Christina Rothwell, Dean's Honor List, the Humanities Essay Prize. Alexander Salas, Dean's Honor List, the Maqbul Aziz Memorial Prize. Joanna Sinclair, the Municipal Chapter of Hamilton IODE Muriel Skelton Award, the Humanities Essay Prize. Ramneek Sodhi, the Dean's Honor List, the Thomas Wiley Scholarship. Kelly Sovereign, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Chloe Sukau, Dean's Honor List, the French Scholarship, the Marie L. Stock Scholarship. David Cabron, Dean's Honors List. Chevalier Taylor, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship, the Elaine Nardocchio Memorial Scholarship, the Swiss Minister to Canada Book Prize. Heston Tobias, Dean's Honor List, the Ella Julia Reynolds Scholarship. Alexandra Walker, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Catherine Walton, the Harold and Gertrude Freeman Scholarship in French. Daryl Watson, Dean's Honor List, the Dr. Harry Lyman Hooker Scholarship, the Morris and Sarah Rosenhead Memorial Prize. Cassandra Wall, Dean's Honor List. Jeremy Zuniga Rodriguez, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Sabrina Merula, Dean's Honor List. Tasneem Al-Baba, Dean's Honor List. Twyla Vanderkoy, the H.B. Greening Book Prize, the University Senate Scholarship. Alexandra Pollard, Dean's Honor List, the H.B. Greening Book Prize. Paul Sovinsky, Dean's Honor List, the University Senate Scholarship. Congratulations to you all again. So one of the most enjoyable aspects of my position as Associate Dean is having the opportunity to meet and talk with students who have been recommended by colleagues as potential candidates to give the student address at the Annual Awards Assembly. This is how I met Udoka Okafor. In late November, she'd been strongly recommended by the Chair of Philosophy, Dr. Elizabeth Gedge. We had a wonderful conversation in my office. She spoke passionately about why she loves philosophy, what her hopes for the future are, her journey from the sciences to the humanities, the many ways in which she lends her voice to fight social injustice and to promote human rights, and the importance of community. We also spoke about religion and politics in Nigeria and discussed the merits of our favorite contemporary Nigerian authors, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and Teju Cole. Udoka came to McMaster to study science and ended up falling in love with philosophy. She fell in love with the idea of questioning everything. She has achieved remarkable academic success and is currently in her final year of the Justice, Political Philosophy, and Law program. Her academic success has been recognized through various distinctions, including the Gupta Family International Scholarship, which she was awarded, and first prize in the Humanities Essay Prize. But Udoka is not only an excellent student, she is one of those people who sets for herself rather minor and trivial goals, such as changing the world. And what she has accomplished outside the classroom is even more remarkable, in my view, than her academic success. Udoka is a freelance writer, blogger, interviewer, and poet. She has given guest lectures in women's studies classes at the University of Windsor, and she has been a presenter and panelist at the World Pride Human Rights Conference. She founded Nerdy Book Reviews, an online magazine for the review and analysis of new fiction, and she is the assistant poetry editor for the literary magazine The Missing Slate. She has written pieces for The Silhouette, Insight Magazine, and CBC Generation Y. She is a regular contributor and interviewer for the People Project, a nonprofit organization that provides leadership opportunities, workshops, and partnerships for under-resourced communities, youth, the LGBT community, and people of color. She is the creative director of the Spotlight program at Proud Politics, where she interviews and showcases past and present LGBT politicians in the hope of inspiring young members of the LGBT community to run for political office. She is also a regular contributor to the Huffington Post Canada. Here are the titles of 3 of her entries that I looked at from the previous year. Nigeria must remain neutral when it comes to religion, the complicated history behind the formation of Boko Haram's caliphate, economic development and human rights shouldn't be mutually exclusive. Finally, in her spare time, she is a competitive chess player, and she competes locally and nationally in math competitions, which is exactly what I do in my spare time, and has competed at various model UN conferences. I have no doubt, Udoka, that you will help change the world. Congratulations. Please help me.
I feel like that should just be my speech. I shouldn't even give anything because I'm so nervous right now. Okay, well, congratulations to all of you. Really happy that you guys won the award, and you can flaunt it and post certificates on Facebook. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be changing their profile picture tonight. So. Okay. So when I came to Canada at 15 from Nigeria, I was lost. I mean, how cliche is that, right? Like, what teenager isn't lost? But however, my feeling of, you know how whenever you're lost, your feeling of being lost is always accompanied by some kind of self-awareness. So you know you're lost because of that kind of self-awareness. Young adults know they are lost because of that kind of self-awareness. And I mean young adults are also grappling with other issues like immediate freedom, outgrowing anger towards our parents and teachers, and just frustration all around. I mean, I don't know why we're angry with them, they won't pay our school fees. Yeah. However, my feeling of being lost felt even greater, given that I lacked this self-awareness with which being lost is usually accompanied. I did a year of high school before I started off at McMaster University, and it is there that I remain the person that will forever change my life. My grade 11 English teacher, Mark. He saw a potential of great magnitude in me, one that no one else ever had. The potential to be a writer even before I knew how to write. We formed our own personal club, and he began to introduce me to the wonder of books and the beauty of words. We explored eras, lived 1,000 lives, and learned about sacrifice, leadership, friendship, love, hope, and truth through books, words, and thoughts. He taught me to conceive of the world in a different way, to think, to wonder. In many ways, he changed my life, and he helped me realize that I was lost by cultivating an environment where I could develop that critical self-awareness that shapes our lives. To this day, every decision that I have made is an aspiration towards becoming the person he has always believed I could be. So, as Dr. Moore said, I was in the sciences when I came to McMaster University, but I couldn't stay there. Not after all that Mark had instilled in me and the burden that, quite frankly, came from such a privileged exposure. This is what inspired me to switch to the humanities. It was the only faculty that came close to offering me what math did, what books and words did, and what the sciences never could. It's because of this that I think that the humanities faculty here at McMaster University is starting a revolution. Now, anyone that has the slightest inkling into who I am is probably mumbling to himself or herself, oh, there she goes again. It's true, I have somewhat of an unhealthy obsession with the idea of revolutions and the subversion of entire institutions and structures within society. However, in this case, I think that my claim about studying the humanities being like starting a revolution is warranted, and I'll explain why. I don't know if many of you have read the classic novel The Giver or its contemporary manifestation Matched, but I'm going to ask that you imagine a world of the lives that both novels represent and then revolt against. Imagine a world or a society where people live in unabashed ignorance, where their choices are made for them, where information and truth clash in absolute opposition to each other, and where one is unable to delve into the artistic modes of expression personified and offered by music, literature, film, art, be devoured by their essence and remade by their daring and defining representations, where the greatest revolution of all is to think, to ask questions, to dream, to defy, to deny, to wonder. But we don't need to exist within this kind of society in order to understand or be able to decipher the importance and revolutionary nature of defiant thought, individual wonder, and its subsequent elevation of private and public consciousness. These novels, like other forms of literature in particular, or art in general, seek to emphasize the importance of these values through representation of an exaggerated society. I will never forget the all-consuming experience that came from taking my first philosophy class ever. We were presented with an argument for why a particular issue had predominantly been viewed in a particular way. And in the same breath, numerous hands in the class shot up. People offered their opinions on why that perspective is limited, and it is not an exaggeration or an overstatement to say that everyone had a unique way of looking at that one very specific issue. This was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. We're not being taught the right answer. We're being taught to think, to question, to defy, to disprove, and to remake the status quo. We're being immersed in the words offered by Henry David Thoreau. Any man more rights than his neighbor constitutes a majority of one. My philosophy classes, other humanity classes I have taken, and the Faculty of Humanities as a whole, like these aforementioned novels, teaches its students to dare to ask questions, to dare to think for themselves, to dare to wonder about an issue beyond what we think we know. By doing this, the humanities is creating a transgressive culture, an environment that cultivates critical thinking skills, awareness. And in this way, the humanities is creating, encouraging, and inspiring young revolutionaries, such as myself and every single student sitting in this assembly hall. So, the next time someone pisses you off, just take the certificate you want today and shove it down their throats. Just don't beat your parents or your teachers, and you suddenly find that you're no longer on the news list, and that won't help anyone. Sisyphus' revolution, in the face of an internal punishment and an absurd life, lay, according to Albert Camus, lay in his defiance and his scorn, so that one must always imagine him happy and free, because his thoughts will always be his own. Martin Luther King Jr.'s revolution and the civil rights movement began with a dream, a thought, and a belief that African Americans ought to be treated with equality, respect, and dignity. Nelson Mandela's revolution began with the very defiant thought that as a black, he ought to be treated with the same respect and dignity that whites were accorded in South Africa. Malala Yousafzai's revolution began with the belief that as a girl, she had just as much right to an education as boys were deemed to have in Pakistan. Bisi Alimi's revolution began with the thought that as a homosexual person, he ought to be treated with the same respect and ought to be accorded the same rights as heterosexual persons are in Nigeria. A country where 90% of people still believe that homosexuals should not be accepted in society, and 88% of those people believe that they should be jailed, prosecuted, or killed. In all these instances and more, their revolutions began with a thought, with them critically reviewing the institutions around them and decided against the status quo. People decided that they deserve better. The bravery it takes to dare to think differently, to dare to wonder, to dare to be contrary. This is what the humanities offers its students and society at large. In many ways, this represents an acknowledgement, a revitalization of our consciousness, our awareness, our empathy, and consequently our common humanity. The humanities faculty is raising a collection of citizens that dare to ask the tough questions and is thus promoting the legacy of the eternal words uttered by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So I would just like to use this opportunity to congratulate all of you on your awards. I would like to use the opportunity to thank the Faculty of Humanities for this honor in speaking for you. I would like to use the opportunity to thank my parents for bearing with me and for paying my school fees and for supporting me financially. I would like to thank the philosophy department for tolerating me. I know it can't be easy. I can't imagine like having to spend all this time with me, and I apologize. I'm going to have to be here for another 2 years. Finally, and most importantly, I would like to thank my English teacher, my best friend, my mentor, and just the most important person in my life, Mark. Thank you for teaching me how to wonder and how to dream. I love you. Thank you.
What can I say? Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining in this celebration. Thank you all for coming to celebrate the revolution. I want to invite all of you to CIBC Hall, which is located in the Student Center, room 319. I want to thank few more people that I have so far. I want to thank Tracy Wong and Karen Jowett from the Student Aid and Financial Services. I want to thank Christine Calvero and Andrew Kirkwood-Howe for all the work that they do to put this together. I want to thank Keith Kinder and his musicians for not cutting me off. And for the wonderful performance. I wanted to leave you with one more thought. I wanted to say to those who've earned awards today, and you have earned them, whether winning this award represented a goal, or whether, as it often does, came as a complete surprise to you, I speak for all of my colleagues in thanking you for not only inspiring us in our classrooms, but inspiring your colleagues, other students, to think deeply and critically. I want to remind you that although these awards are based on past performance, they also represent our faith in your future. We believe that all your futures are bright. This assembly is a very simple way of saying we hope you will continue, and we believe you will continue to write well, to think deeply and critically, and recognize and create beauty as you continue your journey through university and through your lives. Again, congratulations.